Hello, dear students. In previous lecture of Is Matter Around Us Pure, we have discussed that matter is particularly mixtures mostly. Okay, and mixtures also we classify in what? Three things: that solution, colloids, and suspension. Out of these two are stable. This is unstable one. Mean to say easy to filter. So now our next topic is about separating techniques. Separating techniques. It can be easily filtered and separated. It can be separated easily because it is unstable. But if you go for these two one, special methods is needs. So separating techniques we have to discuss particularly for separating the components of solution and as well as colloid. Like let's take an example, first example, because mostly things around us are mixture, so we must understand how to separate them. So first we have to separate components of ink particularly. So what is ink? Whether you talk about blue, black ink, okay? So ink is a mixture or not? So first thing, ink is a mixture. Okay, how you will know that there is an activity given in your book. I am drawing that activity and solving you step by step. That first of all you will take a beaker. Okay, fill it half with water. Here is water. Here you will use a burner. Okay. Now you will take a china dish. You can take a china dish, and a china dish is put it over here. Okay, this is china dish, your particularly beaker. Now over here you will fill the ink. Fill the ink. So when you start heating, you cannot heat directly the ink. Okay, we have to heat first water that converts into steam, which will heat china dish, and when we heat the china dish, vapors coming out start. Okay, and after some times you will see that there is a blue solid residue. Blue solid powdered residue in china dish. So you will see that by doing this whole process, he will next then ask you some questions, that is ink is a mixture. So your answer is yes, ink is a mixture of what? Water plus dye. So the component you get over here, blue solid powder, actually is your dye. Okay, so particularly, and here actually, so the vaporization take place. We did actually this process by evaporation, not by vaporization. Particularly, vaporization is something we are heating directly, but in this case we are heating indirectly. So evaporation will take place. The water will get vaporized into gaseous condition and leaving us the another component, solid component particularly, which is mixed in the ink. Okay, so this is the first separating technique. Now second, we will discuss separation of a colloid, particularly milk component. Okay, how? So for separating milk component, he used the principle, or you can say process of centrifugation. Okay, so you will take a container milk, okay, and a particular centrifugation machine. If centrifugation machine is not available, you can also use your home, application which is used at home, milk churner particularly. Okay, so when you do the centrifugation, the fat particle, actually fat particles milk is a colloid, is a collide of fat particles suspended, you can say mixed with water. So when we churn, the fat starts floating on surface. We will remove the fat from over there. Okay, so fat get removed. Fat is actually acting as a dispersed phase over there, dispersed phase, and your water in that is acting as a dispersed medium. Okay, as a whole, milk is a collide of what type? Emulsion. Okay, in which fat is dispersed phase and water is the dispersed medium, and by centrifugation we can separate the dispersed phase, that is particularly fat, or you can say cream, okay, from the water. So that's how we will separate the components of the milk. So two separation techniques we discussed today. First one is how to separate the ink, particularly ink components, that is dye and water. Two components we have to separate. In the milk case also we have to separate two components, that is your fat and water, and that we have separated by the centrifugation process. In this we do the evaporation techniques. So today we are discussing only two topics. Okay. So today we will discuss about these two particular. So these two activities also given. You will read first two techniques, these one. Second, write down stepwise separation technique in your rough notebook.